me, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's going to be a tale of gambling for this video. Very much a tale of two halves, because I've got some online slot stuff that I want to show you. A couple of really good wins that I've had recently. And then it's going to be the story of the road trip up to Scotland, some machine play in the services on the way there and back, and also up in Scotland where in a couple of the pubs we found some actual old-fashioned analog fruit machines with like spinning reels on them, not just digital cabinets, and one of which we made a group decision to force. So we'll get onto that in due course, but what I will do is start with the online slot stuff. Now, I have kind of dropped the online slot stuff from this channel. I do want to keep the focus very much on the fruit machine emulation, and I've made a deliberate decision to keep this channel kind of clear of the online slot stuff, apart from a few select re-uploads that I have put on the channel. Now, earlier in the year, in one of the pub videos, I was talking in the aftermath of going out to the pub about how I'd actually stopped playing online. And that was back end of December 23, just going into January this year, 2024. I basically dropped online slots completely. I wasn't happy with the reducing RTPs at video slots, which was the last place I was playing at. And 3 Dice's new games hadn't really been exciting. I was getting a little bit fed up with playing the same stuff I've been playing for years and years and years. So I just dropped it. And I did drop it for many, many months. However, going into July, I made a decision to start playing video slots again. Nothing too crazy, just a £100 deposit here and there, playing on my usual 20p spins. Kind of working my way through the BTG back catalogue, because the thing with BTG's old games is they're all still available at video slots on their original launch RTPs, which are all in the mid sort of 96%, you know, that they'll be between 96 and 97%. A lot of them fall in around, 96.4 to 96.6%. Decent RTP, but obviously very volatile, and I was kind of getting away with it. For quite a while, I was managing to get away with it until finally Lil Devil ripped me a new arsehole to the tune of many hundreds of pounds on 20p spins, chasing a big win. Just would not kick anything back. I've documented it over at Casino Meister. There's, reports in the threads there. We've been having conversations about the games and all the rest of it. Like I say, I haven't bothered my actual YouTube channel with it, but I have kind of been reporting on it. And I just threw in the towel. So do you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I am not fucking throwing any more money at this bag of shit. And I'm taking a break from video slots completely. To be honest with you, given the amount of spins that I lumped through these BTGs, and I am talking tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of spins, I didn't do too badly overall. But that final kicking on Lil Devil put me off it. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to 3 Dice. I'm going to start playing at 3 Dice again. They have got some new games on the book since I last played there. And they actually have nice things like bonuses. You can get your VIP level up to get match offers. They run competitions, and there's prizes and stuff. So the sort of act of playing, the act of getting money into play with is cushioned a little bit. Because certainly at video slots for me, I get no bonus offers. I get the wheel of jackpots thing, and that spinny bonus wheel thing that you get has been massively cut back, and all the rest of it. So the perks at video slots these days are very, very poor compared to what they used to be. So basically, you're just straight depositing. There's nothing to cushion that blow. So if you deposit 100 quid and you lose it, it's just 100 quid gone. Whereas at 3 Dice, I was very much aware it's more of a traditional online casino where you have bonus structures and you get match bonus offers and bonus funds, that kind of thing. And there's the little kind of VIP rewards that you can get every month, the shark bonus, dead spin patience, all that. Things that kind of reduce the amount of money that you have to put in to play them. So what happened is I ended up at the point where I was really, really plugging away at this new game of theirs called Cleopatra's Conquest. I put a lot of spins through this. It was kind of doing okay, but I'd be lying if I said I was winning on it. I was keeping to my usual modest 20p spins. I don't want to be losing too much money on these things. Very much want to keep it within the realms of the sensible. It's not about the money so much as I enjoy having a gamble. I like having a flutter, but I don't want to put any serious amounts of money on the line. And when you're lumping as many spins through these things as I do, even then it can start to add up, as I found out on Lil Devil. Just on 20p spins, that bloody thing had quite a lot of money off me. So, Cleopatra's Conquest, I'd been ragging the arse out of for a long time. I was quite a bit down on it, but it finally knocked in the win that I'll show you here. And funnily enough, it happened in the base game. Now, the bonus on this, I'll just show you. So here we are. We've just got a bonus that we'll be dropping in shortly. And this is one, by the way, where you really do want more scatters, because what you'll see in the bonus here is you basically get more wilds going on. But the 4 scatters, and particularly the 5 scatters, really increase what's going on with the wilds. The other thing that you get going on in the bonus round here, and you'll see it here, this is quite a common mechanic, I'm sure you've seen this. See there, we get the locking reels thing going on, and the reels seem to be a little bit more generous with the wilds in the bonus. And the more wilds, you just saw it there as well, the more wilds that make up the win, the bigger the multiplier. And you can see there, if you get 4 wilds in a win line, it pays 16 times that win. The actual biggest single win on a win line on this is 5 wilds. That's the Cleopatra symbol. 5 wilds pays 2,500 times stake. So on a 20p spin, that would be 500 quid. The way to think about it, really, if you're looking at a multiplication of stake, the obvious one there is pound to go. And if you're playing the machines in the pub on a pound to go, that's basically £2,500. Scale that down to a 20p spin, 500 times 20 is 500 quid. So, like I say, I'd lost a few bob on it, but I was determined to plug away at it. What I was really trying to get was a 5 scatters trigger, because the way the rules read on this is a 5 scatters trigger would give you a really, really good chance of getting a wild line. However, as it turned out, it wasn't the free spins round that I actually needed for that to happen. And you can probably guess what's coming up. And I actually saw this come in. Watch here. This is in the base game. I saw the 4 of them and thought, surely it's not going to land the 5th. But watch what that line pays for those 5 Cleopatras when it look at that. That is 500 quid just for the Cleopatras. But remember, she is also a substituting wild, and she's a multiplication wild as well. And if you add it all up, you can see the win down at the bottom there. From a 20p spin, that is £581 20p. Or as a multiplication of stake, that's 2,906 times stake. So again, if that was on a pound to go, that would have been £2,906. But even so, on a 20p spin, that is a really, really nice win. You don't get many wins. I've been playing online slots for many, many years, and you do not get that many wins of that kind of scale. And you can see it there. If we just go back, you can just see it dropping in there. This is in the base game. That is literally just 5 of a kind on a win line of the wild symbol. I couldn't believe it when the 5th one dropped in. And that there, 500 quid for the Cleopatras. And then by the time you added it all up, it came to that rather nice win of 581 quid. Now, once I got that win, I then started to get a little bit silly and thought, well, there you go. I've got a decent bankroll now. And I started to have a crack at some of the single liner progressives. I've covered these on the channel before, back when I was doing more online slot stuff. They're really basic games. I'll just put them up on screen. The selling point on these is that they all have a progressive jackpot, and if you can land the progressive jackpot, you're looking at a win maybe somewhere between 1,500, 2,500, maybe 3,000 times stake, depending on where they're up to at a particular time. So I was hammering away at those for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, but I could not land the progressive for love nor money, couldn't get the progressive on them. And then the final thing that I decided to do was move over to one of the other progressives at 3 dice, which is called the Joker. Now, yes, I know it's not much to look at. It's a pretty simple game. Just ignore the balance down there as well, because they have 3 dice sent out a Halloween bonus offer. So what I've done is I've taken my balance out to my personal safe and then deposited with my personal safe to play this on a bonus. I was actually on a bonus at this point, £100 deposit from my personal safe and £100 bonus. This is a 5-liner. You can see there it's got 5 win lines. And the way this basically works is you've got, these are your wins here. Those 2 there are the kind of the big ones in the base game, which is 20 quid and 80 quid. However, the really interesting one on this is the progressive. So can you see those 3 dice symbols? We'll see them come. There'll be one landing on the... Let's wait until there's one landing on the reel here. They do crop up reasonably often. These games, by the way, have reels on them. These are... There we are. These are genuine reel strips. So can you see there, that 3 dice symbol? There are 5 win lines. If you get 3 of them, on the middle win line, it's a fixed 100 quid. This is on a 50p spin, by the way. What you need to do is play 5 10p coins to have a shot at the progressive. So you've got to play 50p a go. It's a fixed coin size of 10p, and you've got to play 5 coins to activate all 5 win lines, and win line 5 is where the progressive is. So the middle win line is a fixed price of 100 quid. The top win line, 200 quid. The bottom win line, 300 quid. Then diagonally, from top left to bottom right, is 400 quid. And then diagonally from bottom left to top right is the progressive. And can you see in the win panel up at the top there, where it's all kind of static values? Well, this one here, where we've got 18616, that is the progressive. So if I move forward in this video, just look at that number there where it says 18616. Can you see now it's 18832? And there it's 18971. Now, the way that you read that is it's tens of thousands, thousands, hundreds, tens, and then singles. So at that moment in time there, that is £1,897.20. Now, I was plugging away at this for a total of 26 hours. I had this thing lumping away for 26 hours, and you can't just leave it either. You can only do the autoplayer up to a stop trigger of 15 times stake. So it is an infinite autoplayer, but you can't tell it to ignore wins of more than 15 times stake. So basically that win there, the little money bags win, which is 8 quid, that will stop the autoplayer. So it will sometimes go for a little bit, but every time it hits one of them wins, it's gonna, or bigger, it's going to stop and you have to kick the autoplayer off again. So it's not like you can just set this thing going and leave it overnight or anything like that. So that is basically 26 hours of attended play. Now, obviously, I was doing other things. I was going for a shower. I was going downstairs, make me tea, going to the toilet and whatever. But every time this thing stops, you've got to manually intervene and kick the autoplayer off again. I'll try and find a point where something... There we go. If we just go forward, we should be able to find something that... Because there you go. Now, there is a win that stopped it. Can you see? Let's just go back a little bit. So what you're going to see here is the autoplayer is going to stop. And this is not unusual for the auto player to hit a win of 15x or better. And whereabouts was it? So there you go. Can you see the 3 dice has acted as a wild there? That's a £12 win on the bottom win line. We get our suitcase full of money, £12 win, and the auto player has stopped. So that will now sit there until I come back and press start again to kick it off again. I may have just been doing something else at this moment in time, and it will just, there we are, I've kicked it off again at that point. So you get the idea. Now, as we move on in this video, can you see that progressive is, oh, now there's a nice win. There's a £20 win. So where's that one? Oh, I've skipped. This is such a long Bandicam window. You get the idea. This Bandicam video here that you're looking at is 4 hours, 54 minutes long. I've got another 21 hours of this. 21 hours. Plus this 5 hours, you've got a total there of 26 hours. And I was kind of in a death or glory mode. It was like, I am either going to run out of money, and bearing in mind, I've still got hundreds of pounds in my personal safe at this point. I'm either going to run out of money or I'm going to hit this bloody progressive. And I've got to be honest, no one was more surprised than me when this finally happened. Remember, what we're looking for is those 3 dice symbols on the diagonal from the bottom left to the top right. At this moment in time, the progressive is £1,913 and 10 pence. There you go. And it only took 26 hours. And that's not a bad little jackpot sequence, is it? You can see the win down at the bottom there. So if you watch it on a phone or a small screen, I will just tell you that pay is £1,913 and 15 pence. So I finally hit the progressive on it. That is the first time I have ever hit a progressive at 3 dice. I was starting to think it would never happen, but it does show you that it is possible. You can hit these things. And I have seen them go over the years as well. There is like a feed. There you go, boom, and there, it's reset. The interesting thing there is, can you see that the progressive has now reset to its seed value of 500 quid. So you can see the progression there, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, but the one that starts at 500 will increase over time. I actually worked out the amount of your wager that contributes to the progressive is 4%. The overall RTP of the game is 95.4%, but 4% of that, every time you spin, 4% of your stake goes into the progressive. That's across all players. So any player who plays this at 3 dice is putting 4% of their stakes into the progressive. But I won it there at £1,913 and 15 pence. Now, I was actually still on a bonus at that point, so I had some wagering left to do on the bonus. So what I did to finish off wagering on the bonus, I went over to this game here, which is called Wild Waves. It's a pretty gentle game. I had it on 45p spins. I just finished off my wagering on that. This is a very low volatility game, but I still won on it. So as I came to finish wagering, you can see there that my balance is £2,130. If you added up what I'd saved away in my personal safe from the win on Cleopatra's Conquest, if you added it all up, I ended up with just shy of £3,000 of withdrawable funds. So after the kind of rodding that Lil Devil gave to me, this paid all of that back and then more besides, And I ended up with a balance at 3 dice. Like I say, it was about £2,870 of withdrawable funds at 3 dice. Most of it done, of course, from the progressive on the Joker. Good chunk, there's a 4 scatters trigger. A good chunk of it also from Cleopatra's Conquest. And then finally, just to finish off wagering, obviously I was prepared to take a little bit of a hit finishing off the wagering, but it ended up I actually won on Wild Waves as well when I was just finishing off the wagering. I can't remember where this bonus finished, to be honest. I don't think this was a great one, to be honest. I had a couple of half. Yeah, that was a really, really shitty one. It just didn't pay much, that one. But you can see there, it's another little blop of money back into the tank. So we're up to what, £2,167 there as wagering comes to a close. I had my autoplayer set there so that basically when that block of spins finished, my wagering was finished. So that was really, really nice. And the thing is, that progressive win, hitting that progressive on the Joker, that actually happened the evening before I was due to leave the island to go away for what we were calling Rimfest Part 2. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right, there's the boat. There's the Lexus. I'm here. I'm going to get my bags out. Everything's going fine so far. I haven't had a text or an email to say that the boat has been delayed or cancelled. The Steam Packet are good at that at least. So I think everything should be going on time. So hopefully I will be arriving even in Heysham as per planned. Right, I'm going to get me bags, get on the boat as soon as I can and go to the Brule Lounge. And then it's Rimfest 2, The Revenge. Right, so a little bit of an explainer here. And for this one, we will need to go back to the Fruit Forums days. Now, I know there are still quite a few people around on the Fruit Machine emulation scene over at Desert Island Fruits, and indeed who watch my channel, who were around in the very early days of Fruit Machine emulation. And one of the first major sets of forums that we had, indeed the first major set of forums that we had after the original MSN community. I set up an MSN Fruit Machine emulation community, which served as the sort of first forums for the Fruit Machine emulation scene, which was an adjunct to my original web hovel, which was the... I don't know, let's call it what it was. It was the very first Fruit Machine emulation website on the internet. And I created a MSN emulation, Fruit Machine emulation community. But then we got the proper forums, which were Fruit Forums, started up in 2001. That was a whole thing. That was a whole time. If you were there, you will remember it. It was very much early days internet arguments and all kinds of stuff. But what happened on there is that there was me and a few other people who were clearly kind of getting on the forums, as it were. And at one point, someone made the comment to us, oh, if you guys like each other so much, why don't you just give each other rim jobs? And I'm not even kidding. So this is going right back to 2001, 2002, when someone suggested that we should give each other rim jobs. We started calling ourselves the Rimmers. And we still refer to ourselves as the Rimmers. Even the name just stuck. It amused us so much that we still call ourselves the Rimmers. So what came out of that in the year 2005, one of the guys said, why don't we all meet up IRL and actually see each other? Because we've been shooting the shit on the forums, we've been shooting the shit on the internet. Why don't we all meet up in real life? So we did. In 2005, we went up to this guy's house in Scotland and spent a long weekend there of having beers, playing on... It was the original Xbox console at the time, the big black box. We were playing on the Xbox console. We went to a local pub and we forced a £25 jackpot BFM machine called Quality Streak, which is emulated. You can play in the emulator. It was very much a BFM of the time with your £5 and £10 blocks, and then you force it out for the jackpot. I seem to remember it was getting a little bit sketchy on pound coins as well. We had to keep going back to the bar for pound coins, and eventually the bloody thing paid one jackpot and went dead. It was a really good weekend. We all got on. That was back in 2005, and we've been saying for a while, we should do that again. We really should just meet up again. And we finally got around to it about 10 days ago, Rimfest 2. So that's what I'm referring to in that little video there. Now, that was me on the Isle of Man in Douglas very early on a Saturday morning. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I drove from Ramsey, which is there. I drove from Ramsey to Douglas. I then got the ferry from Douglas, which takes you over to Heysham. Right, I forgot to record this bit, so I'm just recording it after and I'll edit it in. But basically, this is where I was sat on the boat. We've got a new boat. The Isle of Man Steam Packet Company brought in about 18 months ago now. A new boat called the Manxman, which I believe cost, I'll have a Google check, but I think it was £73 million this boat cost. Now, this bit here, this is a video that I took to send to Mrs. Degsy, because what I was saying to her, I'll send you a video from the boat, because when we go across, we can have a think about whether or not we want to go up in the Barul Lounge. Now, this bit here, this is not part of the normal seating. What you can do, like deck 7 is where all the normal passenger lounges and the restaurant and the kids' play area and all the normal seating and all that kind of thing. But up on deck 8... there are cabins. I think cabin would be a bit of overkill for, like, was it 4 hours, 4.25 hours? That might be a bit much. There's an exclusive lounge, and there's a really exclusive lounge called the Ingerbrecht Lounge. But there's also this one, which is the Barul Lounge. Now, you have to pay extra to go in here, but I thought I'd treat myself. And I paid an extra £23 each way. So when you're booking your ticket online, what you can do is you can specify your upgrades. And I think, you know what, fuck it. Upgrade me to the Barul Lounge. And the advantages of the Barul Lounge is you get nice big seats that recline. Can you see there? They've got nice space between them. And you can pick which seat you want. It's like booking a seat on a plane. It'll show you which seats are taken and which seats are available. And you can choose which seat you want. Now, the reason this is empty is because this is when foot passengers were waiting to get off and all the car passengers go down first. But even so, to be honest with you, the Barul Lounge, I'd say it was a quarter full. That was my seat there. That was the seat that I booked there. I'd say it was a quarter full, if that. And the thing is, for your 23 quid, you get, they've got a tea and coffee, like a nice tea and coffee machine, which you can use for free. They've got like a basket full of biscuits, a basket full of chocolates and other snacky things, a basket of fruit, and you can go to the bar and you can ask for any non-alcoholic drink for free. So if you just want a 7-Up or a Coke, you go up to the bar and as part of your 23 quid, they'll just give you a drink as well. So I paid the extra 23 quid both ways to sit in the Barul Lounge. So if you are ever coming, if you should ever find yourself coming to the Isle of Man and you're going on the Manxman ferry, I would seriously recommend paying the extra 23 quid to sit in the Barul Lounge, because I thought it was really, really nice in there. You've got Wi-Fi, you get better Wi-Fi as well. There's a thing on the bar that tells you what the Wi-Fi code name and password is. So you get better Wi-Fi than the rest of the ship. And it's just a sort of a nice, quiet ambience in there. Well, I think I took a picture of it as well. There's a static picture that... See, that's as you go in. Can you see the layout of the lounge there? But, God, yeah, it was... I think a lot... I mean, the boat itself was pretty busy. There was plenty of people on the boat. I think just not that many people really fancy paying the extra 23 quid per ticket. But for me, I was more than... I felt that I got my 23 quid's worth. On the way there, now this is the thing, on the way there, from Douglas to Heysham, I had a wander down onto deck 7. And I found it was busy down there. You know what it's like. I mean, it's children running around screaming and all the rest of it. And the seats weren't as nice and whatnot. They also had, however, down there... This is on the boat. They had a games lounge. You can't see all of them there. There were another couple off to the side. But you can see there, it's the standard blueprint cabs. I had money on me. I couldn't be arsed. It was a bit... That's like a side off to the eating area. And it was... I didn't like... I sound like a right snobby fucker here, but I didn't like the ambience of it down there at all. So I thought, you know what, I can't be arsed. I'm just going to go back up to the Barul Lounge and sit in my comfortable seat up there, read a private eye and dick about on my laptop. But there is a games lounge. You can see 5 cabs there. There's another 2 off to the side. That one's bust, it looks like to me. And one of the ones off to the side was bust as well. It's the usual selection of games. Some of the old, an old King of Games cab there as well. In fact, 2 older cabs. But yeah, they are available if you want to play them. And they'll be the £500 variants as well. So they'll be £2 play, 500 quid. But yeah, if you're on the boat, I'd recommend the Barul Lounge. It's a very, very nice boat. And I enjoyed the cry. I do like the boat. I'm not a fan of... I hate fucking airports. I hate flying. I find planes... It's not like I think they're going to crash or anything like that. I just think they're uncomfortable. They're cramped. They're noisy. It's all squeezing up. And they won't let you take any luggage on there that's bigger than a fucking thimble and all the rest of it. And airport security and all that shit can just fuck off. I don't care how quick it is. Put me on a boat. I think it's a much nicer experience to go on the boat. So my personal choice, if I'm ever going from the Isle of Man to the UK, I will go on the boat if I possibly can, because I vastly, vastly prefer it to the airport and flying experience. Anyway, I'll splice this bit in and then I'll get back to the main video now. The plan was that one of the other rimmers, who was coming up from Warrington. Now, he lives down in Warrington, which is there. So he said, right, we've got to get all the way to Scotland. What I'll do is I can come straight up the M6. And then they've built this fantastic new little... hang on, I've gone past it. There we are. This fella here, can you see this road here? You used to have to, it was a nightmare. You used to have to get off the motorway down here somewhere. You had to go through Lancaster. It was a fucking nightmare to get to Heysham, but they finally put this new bit of the road on. So what he said is, I'll come down and meet you. It's not far out my way. I'll come down to Heysham, meet you there, which he did. So when the boat got in, I got off the boat, say, yo, fella, how's it going? Got in his car, and then we had to get up all the way to Scotland, and we went all the way up the M6 here. Let me follow the route. I think this is right. Where did we go? We followed the M6 up to here, but at one point we had to start going across as well. So this will tell you everything you need to know about the death of the fruit machine. We're in a service station. We don't know which one. On the M6, it's the last one on the M6. They've got all these weird little £5 games that they have to do to balance off the numbers. As you can see, it's all digicabs. We've got one broken real fruit machine, and we've got one traditional reflex tornado, which is shit, which I think might even be in the emulator as well. But yeah, that's basically what you get at the service station arcade now. These weird little £5 ones, one actual fruit machine, and how many digicabs? Are you going to play it? Oh, there you go. Have a go. Oh, it's like 10p a go as well.
Yeah, so I could win.
You can
50,
win up to
times
you can win up to £5.
So far,
It's not exactly it's not exactly a written gameplay.
what do you have to do to stop the featuring?
It's for the intellectually challenged to give them something to do. Did you enjoy that pound? Does it say what payout it's on? 84% apparently. You didn't do very well there, did you?
80p off.
Well, anyway, so there we go. We're waiting for our Burger King. I can't get involved in it. And then we must have come up here. Did we? We skirted Glasgow. We definitely went through Dunblane. There's Dunblane. We went through there and across this way. It was a whole thing. And where we were at Dundee, yeah, we skirted Dundee. I think that's the A90. Yeah, we go. That's the A90. Skirted Dundee and ended up all the way north of Aberdeen to this place here, which is called Ellon. So that was a heck of a day. So I'll call him Fred. Fred had to come up from Warrington to Heysham. I had to come from the Isle of Man to Heysham. And from there, we went all the way up north of Aberdeen. That would have been a long enough day in itself, not helped by Fred's engine overheating. I had been nagging Fred for some time. Will you please get your car serviced, Fred, since we're going to be batting hundreds and hundreds of miles up the motorway. He managed not to get it serviced, but insisted that he checked all his fluid levels, oil and coolant and tyre pressure and all the rest of it. We couldn't see anything obviously wrong. The engine started flashing engine overheating. We had to pull up at the side of the road. There was nothing leaking. There was nothing pissing out all over the place. If you don't know, you really don't want to be opening the coolant tank on like modern engines. The coolant system's pressurized. You do not want to be opening the coolant tank and they're completely opaque, so you can't see what's in them. As it happened, one of the other two rimmers, because there's four of us, one of the other two rimmers actually lives in the area. And once we had to stop and we were like, what's happening to each other? We're having a little bit of a situation here. We'll call him Jock. Jock came down to meet us in his vehicle, and he then followed us all the way up to Ellon in case Fred's car exploded. It didn't. It made it all the way there. We parked up. It was constant, like in a video game when like your weapon's overheating or something like that. It was like every time he gave the car any kind of beans whatsoever or had to go up a hill, the engine temperature would flick up right up into the red zone and start flashing engine overheating. So it was like a constant dance for the last 100 and odd miles, however long it was, to get to Ellon. We got there, the car didn't explode. We had someone behind us. Jock was behind us just in case. And we got to Ellon. And it was there that we met the fourth rimmer, who I shall call Hamish for the purposes of this video. So the four of us were together. He's got a really nice house. It's like set in grounds. There's like a fucking stream running through it and stuff. And it's also got outbuildings. And what he had done, he spent months and months and months converting one of his outbuildings into a pub. So what we were able to do, once we got there, it was like 8 o'clock when we got there. Now, bear in mind that I've been up since 6 in the morning. So that was a 14-hour day of travelling for me. It wasn't far off that for Fred either, because remember, he'd had to come up from Warrington. So it had been a long day, but we decided to christen the pub and go out to the pub for a couple of beers. I'll show you pictures of what it looks like inside. He did a fantastic job. So look at this. This is what he's converted one of his outbuildings into a pub. So you can see there, it's got a pool table in it. It's got a proper bar. He's got, I don't think you can see it in that picture there, but he's got, there's another view. You see, we've got a dartboard in the corner. And we've also got, can we see it in this picture here? You can't quite, can you see there? There's like one of those home brew filter things. He had like a little keg of Peroni in it. And it honestly pours what is, like if you'd have given me a pint of that, in the pub. In fact, you can see a pint up on the bar there. If you'd have given me a pint of that in the pub, I would have sworn it was like proper pub Peroni. So you can see there, he'd done a fantastic job with the pub. On the screen there, he also had, he's got, you can't see it in the picture, but there's an arcade stick. He's got like a laptop. I'd taken up a full collection of MAME, like the MAME emulator, the arcade emulator, with all the ROMs. So we had an arcade stick and Xbox pads to play old arcade games on the telly there. He had a sound system with some speakers. So it was like a pub, like his own personal pub, or our pub that he built. It's his pub, but we could all use it as a pub. And that was the Saturday evening. We all got to bed, and thus commenced the Sunday. The plan for Sunday was to go into Ellon. There was 3 or 4 pubs that we could go around there. We were going to go out, have a few beers, have a chat, and see if we could find any machines to play. And we did. So let's go through the pubs of Ellon. So the first place that we went to, what happened is one of the guys drove us to, one of the guys does not drink. So one of the guys said, fine, I'll be the fucking taxi service. I'll run you all into Ellon. So the 4 of us went into Ellon. Then we went to this place here, which is called the Toll Booth. Now, it doesn't look like much from the outside, but it's actually very, very deep. So that's the pub there from the front, but it doesn't come through on that picture at all. Is if you go through, it's deep, and it's got a whole area at the back and a beer garden. It was actually a really nice pub. We went in there. There was a little bit of a moment. It does seem to be quite a locally pub, and this was like a Sunday after, well, I don't know, about 1:15 on a Sunday afternoon. It didn't look like there was any food going on in there. So there was a few locals at the bar. Bearing in mind that we're very much in Scotland here. And I went to the bar with my English accent. Oh, hello, dear lady. And like the guys round the bar like, who's this fucker here in our pub? Fortunately, 2 of the guys are Scottish. Jock and Hamish are Scottish. So I said, hey, what do you want, Hamish? Oh, yeah, man, I'll fucking have a fucking point. You know, and then it was all right, fine, with Scottish people. So it was okay. It was fine. It was no bother. Or nay bother, as you might say. But there were no machines in there. There was absolutely nothing. There were no machines. There was no jukebox. There was no pool table. It was it was a big place inside as well. We were a little bit mystified. So even though it was a nice pub, we thought, right, let's move on and see if we can find anywhere that's actually got some machines. Because remember, we all met each other via Fruit Machine emulation. We were all on. Back in 2001, we were all posting on Fruit forums, and we had all come together via Fruit Machine emulation. So you've got me, who kind of set up the first Fruit Machine emulation website and the first Fruit Machine emulation forums, which then migrated over to Fruit forums, and the 4 of us were on this back in 2001. So we've all got this shared history of Fruit Machines. So we were kind of wanting to, a little bit for let's find some machines to play. So the next place we went to, and it looks very unassuming from the outside, is this place, the Buchan Hotel. You can't really, there's nothing to really see from the outside there, I've got to say. But inside, it's actually really, really nice. I mean, that looks like there's a restaurant area there. They do food as well, because 3 of the guys got some food. I didn't get any food. We'll get onto that later. But let's just try and find some pictures of the inside. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, they've got a website, and obviously it is a proper hotel. So they seem to be leaning more into the sort of accommodation and restaurant side of things. I can't for the life of me find a bloody picture of the inside, but not to worry, because I did take some pictures, because when we went in here, they actually had, can you believe it, an actual Fruit Machine. That is a picture that I took inside there of the Fruit Machine. It's a BFM Cash Ahoy on a £100 jackpot. Now, the interesting thing is, this is emulated. It's a Scorpion 5 machine, this. You can play this in the emulator albeit on a £70 jackpot. I don't know if the £100 ROMs are knocking around, but generally speaking, the play profiles on these things didn't change from the 70 to the £100 jackpot. It's got a deal or no deal type game. For all I know, it might actually be a reglass of a Dond, because sometimes BFM did that. But with a fruit machine to play there, we had a little crack at it. We all put a tenner in, because we were all playing together. We all put a tenner in, so we had 40 quid in there. It wasn't on its arse. It was okay, but we ended up with, see that booty meter there? That's like a money meter when you're on the board. It has got a cash pot, but it's got like a money meter thing there. I think that got up to £19 odd. And we sort of bottled it a bit, because what I was saying to them is you don't want to be forcing these things, really. It doesn't have a Dond reel. Not that we could have read the boxes anyway. So you've got a Dond game that could stiff you. I said, we don't really want to be forcing this for a £100 jackpot just because it's £20 happy. So we took the 20 quid, but that really did kill the machine. Taking the 20 quid just killed it. And what we found then is we had a £2 block board. We definitely had one board or two boards after that where you could tell it just wouldn't offer us more than 2 quid. And, you know, a couple of the guys really, they don't play fruit machines particularly these days, but even then we're like, oh, fucking hell, it's not offering us more than 2 quid, is it? So we did every time we landed on a mystery, we just did it's got like a deal or bust type thing. I think it's called treasure or bust on this. And that just busts us every single time. We played it out. So in the end, between us, we lost 40 quid. And we're like, fucking hell, but we're not going to play that anymore, because they did have a second machine in there. This is the same place. They had this cabinet. Now, I don't know what kind of cabinet that is. What you can see there's a jukebox on the wall, and going over there is like a pool room, and that's where the other fruit machine was there. But they've got this now. This is a digi cabinet thing, obviously, and it's got random style games on it. So we did the same thing again. We put 40 quid into this thing, and I've got to say the hardware seemed to be a little bit clunky. The games were struggling, like they were really, really laggy. Now, the one that we got into, I've got a video of it here, so thank you to this guy here who's done it. In fact, I'll give him a like, because this is the only footage. Now, this is not my footage, but that's one of the... Can you see it there? It's doing the same on his here. Can you see how jerky that is? So we played this. We played this Batman game. This is the main one that we played, was this Batman game. When you get a bonus there, when you get all 5 gold reels, you select 3 spins, and what happens is, I'll show you on this one. So, I mean, it's all properly licensed. You can see they've got Gary Oldman in there. They've got footage out of the films and everything. But the whole thing it was a little bit jerky, I've got to be honest. But what's going on here? Can you see? It puts these walking wild things in. So these wilds come in, and they move from the right to the left of the screen. We got that feature a few times. It comes in quite regularly, but it can pay absolutely dreadfully. But we finally got a decent one out of it that paid about, I think it was 60 quid, or we ended up with £60 that was collectible. And then we did a little bit more as well. So this one here, we played this for a bit, and we actually got a decent win out of it, and we stopped playing it, and we went on to another one, which was an Irish themed one. Now, I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. We haven't got much in the way of pictures of these. One thing that made us laugh, so you might recognise it. I don't think the name of the game is on there, but it's like an Irish themed one, and we thought it was slightly like, really, they're going to have a paddy feature on an Irish themed slot? So you might recognise that and what that actually is in terms of games. But we did okay on that one. That one paid okay. And there was another Batman one on there. Again, I can't find any footage of the other Batman game. So basically what we played on there was this Batman game that you can see on the screen. Another Batman one, which was more like a sort of 20-liner with loads of different features on it. We didn't get anything on the features on that one, but it put in a really good win on the reels. And on the Irish-themed one with the paddy feature, we ended up with a couple of good screenfuls of the gems on that one. One way or another, we ended up winning 20 quid each. We took a profit of £80 out of that machine, of those machines. And that was taking into account what we lost. So bear in mind that we all lost a tenner on the actual fruit machine. So we all lost a tenner on that. But by the time we'd finished on that, we were all £20 up each. So we must have won £120 on that to repair the £10 each that we lost, which is 40 quid. And then to be 20 quid up each, which is another 80 quid, we must have made a profit of £120 on that. I'm really sorry, I cannot find footage of these other games. This must be one of the lesser known cabs. It does come through there on that video. I think this must be running on the same bloody hardware that this one was. Where are we? Yeah, it must be running on the same hardware that one was, because we all noticed it was really, really clunky. But we won. And then we went over to the Bridge Bar. Now, I've got to be honest, this place, there's nobody stood outside there. It looked a little bit rough from the outside. And Hamish did say, I've never been in there. We were all a bit like, it looks a bit rough. But after we'd had a few beers, we're like, right, fuck it, we'll go in. How bad can it be? It was all right. I mean, nothing bad in there happened, but it was not a posh location. I don't think it would be offensive to say it's not the poshest of locations. It was quite busy as well in there, even though it was Sunday afternoon. And they had 2 fruit machines. They had 2 machines, and they were both traditional fruit machines. Now, that's a picture that I took of one of them, which is, as you can see there, Hot Diggity Dosh. And what the bloody hell make is that? Now, there's the other one. That's the second one that they had in there, which was called Cleo's Gold. And I think that's pretty clearly a reflex, is it? But there was like guys sat, it was like at the end of the bar, and there were guys sat in front of it. And they looked like they wouldn't be particularly delighted to be asked if they could move. So we made an executive decision to play this one, which I'm pretty sure is called Hot Diggity Dosh. I'm buggered if I can find anything about it on the internet. Oh, there you go. Someone's actually posted something about it over at Desert Island Fruits, believe it or not. And there is another picture of it. So yeah, it's called Hot Diggity Dosh. Apparently, it's a Scorpion 6 machine. But there really doesn't seem to be much information about this thing at all. So yeah, there you go. That's it. That's actually a better picture than I took of it. That's not my picture there. That's Liam's picture from Desert Island Fruits. But yeah, so that's the one that we played. We all put a tenner in to start with, so that gave us 40 quid. It kind of looked all right. I think it offered us a half decent shot. I think it offered us like a 10 or a £15 shot in the first 40 quid. I think it opened up the game for us once. We decided it, we thought, well, it's not completely dead. And with, what, bollocks to it. We'll just force the thing out. There's my picture of the thing in the actual pub. And we forced that thing out. Eventually, we got the mega streak off the game there. It played very, very much like a second gen reflex. I have made a video about the reflexes. And also talking about the difference between their first and second gen games. It felt a lot like that to me because I've played those things quite a bit in the emulator, but also loads and loads and loads in the Reflex app, if you remember that. I also covered that in the video. And it just seemed to get to a point of happiness and just not get any happier. And what it would do is when it killed you off, when it mugged you off on the board, what it would do then is it clearly just had, I am now going to have this many spins off you before I give you another board. So it's going to be 14 quid until you get the next board. There's hardly any pretense that there's much in the way of player control, to be honest. And then you get on the board and then it got progressively happier to a point, and then it just stopped getting any happier. It's also got, by the way, it's got a red and blue trail. You can't really see it there or in either of those pics, but that trail there, that can be blue or red, and it works like your usual blue or red trails. Your red is better than The blue, it was offering some decent stuff. Like it got to the point where it was routinely offering the top real win, which is that fella there, which is 35 quid. It got to the point, let's just have a look, which is, yeah, the top paying symbols there. But you can see there that the highest win on the reels is 35 quid. There is no jackpot on the reels. We were getting loads of streak spins and all that sort of thing, but it didn't do the £100 shot. It was shooting everything apart from 100 quid. And in the end, we were like, we got to £180 into it. So we were a lot into it. 180. And by 180, because obviously 180 isn't divisible by 4. I think what we'd actually done is we were 200 in cash, but we still had 20 quid in credit. So we'd spent 180, but we'd actually put 200 into it. And we're like, this just doesn't seem to cave. There doesn't seem to be an invincible board. It's not giving us the £100 shot. We could see that there was a mega streak at the top of the game. It was, absolutely throwing the game at us. So we were like, we took a joint decision. We were like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just take the game and hope it gives us the mega. Just as a slight aside, can you see there? We've got a sticker on it saying 76%. So this machine will pay out a minimum of 76%. You can bet your ass that thing is set to 76%. That's a harsh percentage. So yeah, in the end, it's like, fucking hell, we've put £200 into this fucking thing. Let's just start taking the game and see what it's prepared to do. And as it happened, it let us deal all the way up to the mega streak at the top there, which went for a flat 100, because of course it fucking did. So 180 quid for a £100 mega streak. We were like, right, okay, let's see if it's got any life in it. But there was a couple of crappy boards. I think we managed to collect a couple of half. I think we got some streak spin things and a couple of other things, but it wasn't like it was going back in and opening the game up and really looking like it had any life left in it. And then even when we just took a little bit more out of it, and even that was kind of like, we were putting 6 or 7 quid in for a £5 or £6 board or whatever. And then it started doing like the obvious 3 quid block boards or whatever. And we were like, you know what? We're going to have to leave this. We're going to have to call it a day and collect the money out. And by the time I think we collected a bank, we went to collect a bank of it would either have been 100 or 110, something like that. Now, one thing that I just forgot to mention, in that pub there, when we collected our bank out of it, it was quite a decent bank that we collected out of that, 160 quid or whatever it was. The notey broke. It paid out, most of it okay, but we had 40 quid left. And when we got down to 40 quid, and it was paying out, so I think it was all in £10 notes. And then we had 40 quid left. And then the notey just started churning. It made that wah, 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 wah. And it did that. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. The notey's going to fuck up here, isn't it? And it did that for about 10 times. And then just flashed up an error. Said, call attendant, payout error, whatever. I was like, oh, bloody hell, it's got 40 quid in it. Now, the lady came over. I think she was the landlady. She was really, really nice. And she'd, oh, no, sorry, love. And I said, well, because what I was doing is, I was collecting 40 quid out at a time. So I collected 40 quid and gave Fred his 40 quid. I collected 40 quid for Jock and gave him his 40 quid. 40 quid for Hamish, gave him his 40 quid. Went to collect my 40 quid and the notey fucking errored. So we said, oh, that's my 40 quid. And she's like, all right, well, no problem, love. I'll take your name and address, and we'll get, when the man comes out, I'll let you know, and you can pop back in and collect it. And we're all like, this guy lives on the Isle of Man, and she's like, right, okay, I could maybe take, and Hamish is like, well, I live locally, you can take my details. I said, hang on, give me a minute. And she went back and came back, and she just came back with 40 quid. She just takes, so she must have been the landlady, I guess, to do that. She said, here you go, love. I can see it on the screen. It says it owes you 40 quid. It does that. It does this sometimes. It's not a problem. The guy always gives me the money. The guy will give us the money back. So, and if obviously you're not going to be around here again, here's your 40 quid. So she turned the machine off and she actually just gave me the 40 quid short pay. So that was really nice. But yeah, the notey fucked up. That is the point there. The notey fucked up. You know what's coming next, don't you? We went to collect our bank, 110 quid or whatever it was. It did most of it, but with £10 left in the bank, guess what? The notey fucked up, and I took a picture of it. There you go, 16 note acceptor error. There was only a tenner left that was owed to us at this point. And it was actually getting pretty busy in there. The machine was alarming at this point, like wah, 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 wah. There was a really busy table next to us. The place was starting to feel, I've got to say, the place was starting to feel a little bit rough. And we could hear them chanting, oh, that bloody machine, turn that bloody noise off. And it was busy at the bar. There was only one last serving. And we all looked at each other and we said, are we that fucking arsed for a tenner? And we're like, nah, you know what? It was getting busy. The other place had been getting quite busy as well. We're like, you know what? Let's just go back to Hamish's pub. We've had enough of this. There's like a better pub than this up the road, which is at Hamish's house, where there's no queue at the bar and we can put whatever music we want on and we can play the games and we can play pool and all the rest of it. So we thought, you know what? Fuck it. Leave the tenner. So we started to walk away from the machine, and one of the guys on the table next to us, oh, thank fuck for that, got up and turned the machine off at the wall, and we were like, bollock, don't even care. We just dropped our glasses on the bar and walked out, and we left the tenner. So that had a tenner out of us, and I made the point, so there, folks, out of the 2 machines that we've collected notes out of today, both of the note changers or the note acceptors have fucked up. So we had a 100% kill rate on the noteys on these things. So their stellar reputation lives on. Unfortunately, we're never going to be able to play that in the emulator because apparently it's Scorpion 6. It says over at Desert Island Fruit, so it's not emulated. For me, it felt all the world like a Gen 2 reflex, but if there's any more detail on that one, I'd be quite interested to know. You can see there that they're not normal, real symbols, are they? I don't know what that symbol is there, so God knows who made that. You can kind of see the logo up at the top there, can't you? But I can't see what that says. And then we went back to Hamish's house, to his pub there, back into there, and that's where we spent the rest of the evening. It got slightly messy. Now, the thing is, we had the draft Peroni. We had, because I'd been talking to the guys about them fucking TVRs. You know the TVRs that I was drinking? They're in the video about when I was over for my dad, when my dad was hospitalised and then died back in 2023 last year, May of last year. And a friend had suggested TVRs to me to take the edge off tequila, vodka, Red Bull. Well, Hamish had taken that to heart and he had got in tequila, vodka and Red Bull. So we had a pint on the go. He was pouring these TVRs, and you've got to remember that these are not pub measures. This is not where you get a shot of tequila and a shot of vodka and these, tight little pub shots and then a can of Red Bull. This was whatever was going into him. He did send us this picture after we'd all gone. That bottle of tequila was full before we started. And on top of that, he also had some other shit. He had some rosé tequila that was turning up, and it was kind of whatever was being put in front of me, I was drinking. And bearing in mind that I hadn't eaten because I'd passed on the food earlier on. Now, one of the guys, Jock, who wasn't drinking so could drive, he went out to a local takeaway to bring back some food, but it was a little bit too late at that point. And about 1 a.m, as I was going to the toilet, I realised I had overindulged, and not very often that this happens these days. I can't remember the last time it happened, in fact, but I chucked my fucking guts. And then it all got a bit wobble. I went the night came to an end. We left 2 of them in there. Fred and Hamish were still in there. I took myself off to bed. The rest of the guys went to bed not long after that. And then the next day, on the Sunday, I cannot tell a lie, I was pretty rough. We went out, we drove out to a local Tesco, and we were on the way to Tesco. This was, I don't know, whatever it was, about 11 in the morning, something like that. And there were three of us in the car. One of the guys had stayed behind. And I was like, Fred, you're going to have to pull the car over, mate. I'm going to be sick. And I got out of the car and threw up. I'd managed to have a coffee, but that came back up. And Fred has made a meme for us. So there you go. So you think that's very funny. So there's me drinking one of the shots. And you can see there's only 4 words needed there. Alex sowing and Alex reaping. So the bloody bastard, when I'm down at the side of the road there, chucking off, he'd had the foresight to take a picture of me. So thank you very much for that, Fred. So yeah, you can see there, I've still got a fucking pint on the go. There's probably a TVR around there somewhere as well. And I'm drinking tequila. So I mean, God knows what I'm thinking there. So I was super, super rough on the Monday. I was mega, mega rough. So that was a day of recovery for me, but it was still all right. We were all in, we didn't do anything. We didn't go out anywhere. So we were all in the house together. We all got on fine. Jock went back on the Monday evening, and then Tuesday, it was a really, really early start. On the Tuesday, it was basically a reverse of what we'd done. Now, my sailing was I think 2:30 it left, or 2:15 from Heysham. Final check-in at 1:50. Now, when we'd been going up there, there was a load of roadworks near Dundee, and one of the motorways had really slowed down, and the guys were saying, the 2 Scottish guys were saying, you probably want to be the other side of all that stuff before rush hour. So me and Fred had said, you know what, fuck it, let's just get up really, really early. The car situation, by the way, the punchline to that story is the car situation. The next day we checked on his car, turned out that it had completely run dry of coolant. When the car, like I say, it was all cooled. The next day we had a look, and we popped the top on the coolant tank, and we were like looking into it, and we were putting, like, got a bit of kitchen towel and dipped it in. Not that there was anything to dip into. And we were like, Fred, you told us you checked the coolant on your car. He said, I did check it. I said, how did you check it? I looked. But you can't even see anything because the tank is completely opaque. He said, yeah, I tapped it. But I said, what do you mean you tapped it? So he hadn't actually checked it. So did you take the top off? Did you take the top off the coolant tank? Nope. For fuck's sake. So we had the poor little thing had been hammered. It's a nice car. It's a Kia Ceed. It's a modern car as well. It's only, I think, 4 years old, but it's got one of them modern, like these 3-cylinder 1-litre turbo engines. It's a miracle of science that like it can put out like 120 brake horsepower or something out of these little engines. So it's a nice little car, but they're quite highly stressed, these little engines. And the poor thing had done like the better part of 400 miles with no fucking coolant in it, all the way from Warrington to Heysham and all the way up to Scotland, up to the north of Scotland, with just engine oil and no coolant. So what we'd done is completely refilled the coolant system on the Sunday morning, and then we were using his car to get around just to check if the coolant system had sprung a leak or anything like that. But it hadn't. It had literally, at some point, all of its coolant had been used up and it had completely run out. So what we did then is we set off. We were on the road from Ellon at 5:45 in the morning, because what I said is, look, I really don't want to miss the boat back. And Fred was like, well, it's all good to me. I'm an early riser. I'm the type of person who likes to set off early anyway. And I'm on my way home. So the sooner we set off, the sooner I'm home. It was going to be a day of travel anyway. So we're like, fine. So we said our goodbyes to Hamish. Cheers. Really good weekend. Thanks for having us, matey. And it had been as well. It had been a really good time. I mean, we knew that we'd get on together because we did it before back in 2005. And we also, even before we met in real life, we knew that we would get on together. So we've done it before. So even though there'd been a 19-year gap, we were kind of happy that we'd get on together. Fred as well, Fred has actually been over to the Isle of Man twice. He's been over to the Isle of Man twice to visit me as well. He's come over for like a long weekend. So I've seen Fred IRL a couple of times extra as well, because he's come over to the Isle of Man to visit. So it had been a really good weekend. Hamish there, he had a super nice house. He had 2 spare. His missus was away. That was the other thing. His missus was away. So he had 2 spare bedrooms put us up. One of the other guys was staying in his camper van. He's got a camper van. So he said, no problem, boys. I'll just stay out on the drive in my camper van. And having that pub there, that converted pub, was absolutely brilliant. Because when we kind of had enough of the real pub, it's like we had an even better pub to go to. So that worked super, super well. But it was a day of travel. Tuesday was a day of travel. So we had to go all the way from there up the north of Scotland back down, because we set off so early. Even at that time, by the time we got round Dundee and where the like one half of the motorway was closed and there was filter lanes and all that sort, it still slowed us down, but we did okay. We stopped because we were making such good time. Like, right, we got through all that stuff and we were on the motorways. We did stop at services. Now, I can't for the life of me remember which services it was. It was after we'd left Scotland and were back in England. So one of the first, I think it was on the M6 somewhere, once you've come through to England, we got a Mackey's breakfast, and Fred put, you know what, I've got some shrapnel left over from when we went out the other day. He put £7 into one of the digicabs. It was a Blueprint digicab, and on the very first spin, he got the fizzy. It was the Kamikaze Wilds, and the Kamikaze Wilds paid 45 quid. So literally £1, and he got 45 quid. One spin. He said, I don't collect it, just fucking collect it. He said, yep, I'm collecting that. So he had a bank of like 52 quid, and it paid out a ticket. So you took the ticket, you had to take the ticket to a little cash machine thing. You put the ticket in, and it spat out 52 quid. So he was made up with that. Thank you very much. That's like my tank of petrol paid for, pretty much. So that was nice. So we had a Mackey's. He won. He made £44 profit on the machine in one single spin. It was a similar kind of little area to the other one on the way up in terms of machines. And then he got me back to Heysham. We were there in really good time. I actually had about an hour and 45 minutes to wait until I could even board the boat, because the boat was still coming in from its sailing from the Isle of Man, but I was fine with that. The agreement, I said, look, I'd rather be there early and know I'm going to make it than be on the minutes. And what we also found out as well was Jock was sending us news that there'd been an accident on the A90 near Dundee, going through Dundee, which completely closed it. So I've lost Dundee. Where is it? There's Dundee. So there was an accident round here, apparently, which completely closed it and got all the traffic massively snarled up and all the rest of it. So leaving early was definitely the right thing to do. And Fred carried on down to Warrington. And that was basically the end of Rimfest. I then came back on the ferry. By the time I got home, by the time I got through the front door here, it was 7 o'clock in the evening. So bearing in mind that we'd been up since like just before 5:30 in the morning, I actually got home at 7 o'clock. So it was another very, very long day of travelling, but it all went fine. And that is basically it. That is the story of Rimfest 2. So just goes to show that there are actually some real fruit machines out there. You can still find them, but it didn't escape our attention that out of all the machines that we played, on the way there and on the way back in the services and in the pubs, the only one that we lost on, the only ones that we lost on were the traditional compensated fruit machines. The only one that properly ripped us a new arsehole was a compensated fruit machine, which was 180 in to get 100 back. The randoms gave us much better games, and we actually managed to win on them as well. So, again, and I've said this all along, the fruit machines now on the £100 jackpot and on the £70 jackpot, even going back to the 35, arguably the £25 jackpot as well, they're not what they used to be. They're not the £6 AWPs or £10 AWPs of old, where they got loads of gameplay and loads of features. I mean, this thing here, honestly, was pretty miserable. And it just got to the point. I mean, we were fine. We were kind of taking the piss out of it, really, as we were playing it. But we all agreed. I was talking to Fred. One of the things we were chatting about, because me and Fred spent like 15 hours in the car together. One of the things we were talking about is that neither of us would have ever got into fruit machines in the first place. If like this was what you found in pubs in like 1990, 1991, when we started going out, there's no way on earth that you get. They're just awful. They can take so much money out off you for so little gameplay, and the jackpot feels so far out of reach. I mean, look at those shots there on a £100 jackpot machine. £1, £2, £4, £5, £3, £3 plus repeat chance, £4 plus repeat chance. You know what I mean? Outside of the bigger ones, you could have all of those shots on a £6 jackpot machine. Then if you go to an £8 jackpot, you could stick that one in there. £10 jackpot, you could stick that one in. 50, you know what I mean? Every single shot on there, apart from the £100 shot, could have been done on a £25 jackpot AWP. And yet your jump there is from 25 to 100. So it's kind of what we're all in agreement. I mean, this is something that we talk about over at Desert Island Fruits, is that fruit machines now are just an abomination compared to what they used to be. The jackpots are far too big. They've still got these awful, awful mid-70s percentages there. So you've got to think about it in RTP terms. For every pound that you're putting in, the machine is having 24p of that off you as profit. Now, even on a pub random, you can get 90%. So instead of 24p, a random's having 10p off you on average. And if you play online, where you're getting 95%, you're only losing, for every pound that you stake, you're losing 5p. But on average, every single £1 spin on this, it's keeping 24p for itself. Now, yes, I know it's compensated. I know it's going to have to pay something eventually. But we were just like I said, we just kind of, it wasn't a money thing. We weren't running out of money. We kind of like had plenty of money on us to keep putting money in. But we kind of like, what do you even do with this? We're just going to have to start taking the game and see if it does anything. But, it did give us the mega streak in the end. So, journey back was fine. The journey back was very much like the journey over in reverse. I was sat in the Barul Lounge again. I didn't even bother to go down to the Machine Lounge. I couldn't be arsed. I just sat up in the peace and quiet of the Barul Lounge. It's really nice up there. You can get yourself teas and coffees and soft drinks, like I said. So I was perfectly happy up there. I didn't even go down to general population at all. I'd paid me 23 quid and I was quite happy. Just, they've got Wi-Fi, I could read me private eye, I was more than happy. So, I think that is the story of Rimfest 2, and that is, I can't remember the last time I actually played a real fruit machine. It must be years and years and years since I've actually played. I'm trying to think when it might have been, because we haven't had any on the Isle of Man for years. When I went over last year, you must be going back to 2017, 2018 since I played a real fruit machine. And frankly, having played that bloody thing, and for the final kick in the bollocks, it errored when it was paying us out, I don't really feel like I've been missing much. But there you go. That's the story. Really nice win online. Some decent numbers involved there, and a great long weekend away with some friends there for the famous Rimfest festival. We have said that we'll try and do the next one and leave it less than 19 years before we do the next one. So just a little bit of a tale there. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch up with you next time. But for now it is goodbye.